Be'eri was actually paradise for us.
We lost our homes, our community was butchered.
Be'eri, a kibbutz in southern Israel, was one of the first places targeted by Hamas in a surprise attack on October the 7th. Militants broke in, burned down homes, captured hostages, and killed 131 people. Sky News has verified the identities of 118 of them.
We are completely heartbroken, completely.
It's just one of the many communities targeted that day. More than 10,000 Palestinians have died in the ensuing war. But it started with the attacks on October the 7th that led 1,200 Israelis dead and hundreds more still held hostage.
We don't know whether they're dead or alive.
We investigated how the atrocities in Be'eri unfolded and spoke to residents and victims' family members to help tell the story of murder, kidnap, and survival. Be'eri is about 5 kilometers from the border with Gaza in southern Israel. On October the 7th at around 7 a.m, CCTV camera footage shows 2 Hamas fighters approaching the front gate of the kibbutz. They can't get past the metal bars at first, but then, as a resident drives up to enter, they ambush the car, killing those inside, and they run into the village. Around the same time, Amit Man, a 22-year-old paramedic, was running from the safe room in her home to the local dental clinic, which was used as a first aid post during the attack.
We realized she was running to the clinic, even though she was told to stay inside of the safe room.
Despite being at the clinic, she was in touch with her sisters on their family WhatsApp group throughout the day. She sent them a message once she arrived, as she began treating the wounded, telling them Hamas had arrived in town.
Basically, she stayed there from 7 a.m. until 2:15 p.m.
Amit sent her sisters an audio message as Hamas gunmen entered the clinic. This footage shows the aftermath of the fighting. Haviva and Lior wanted Sky News to play the recording that they shared, but a warning, it's distressing to listen to. Her sisters managed to call her back before the line dropped.
That was the moment that I lost hope. That was the last time that anyone spoke with her.
As Hamas fighters moved through the kibbutz, militants entered the home of the Gat family at around 9:30 a.m. A video posted on social media, verified by Sky News, shows 68-year-old Kinneret Gat in a brown shirt, being led away by gunmen. Kinneret Gat's nephew was in Tel Aviv at the time. When he saw the video circulating online, he couldn't believe his eyes.
I just sent it to my mother and said, "This is Kinneret, right?" And she said, "Yeah, of course." And we were just, we couldn't believe that what we were seeing was her, but there was no question about it.
Another clip, taken shortly after, shows her body lying with 3 others on the ground by the cemetery gate. She was later confirmed dead. Ashel, her husband, hid and survived. Other members of the Gat family are believed to have been taken hostage: Carmel Gat and Yarden Roman Gat. Meanwhile, only a few streets away, Sophie Mackey was in the safe room of her house with her young children. CCTV footage shows that the Israeli military were on the scene from approximately 10 a.m. But locked in their safe room, Sophie and her kids were unaware for several hours.
I just sat there with terrified children, and I actually understood the time going to die.
At 6:15 p.m, Israeli military personnel knocked on the door of Sophie's home.
They weren't able to rescue us at that time because it was still we were still under fire. The kibbutz was still full of terrorists, and so we went together with our neighbors up to their safe room, and we sat there for hours in complete darkness.
It wasn't until midnight that Sophie and her family were finally rescued, after hiding in silence for nearly 20 hours.
I went into the safe room at 6:30 in the morning, knowing what my world looks like, and I emerged from it almost 20 hours later, and my home was destroyed. There were dead bodies lying everywhere. I couldn't recognize anything.
The attack left Be'eri changed forever. Sophie and her kids survived, but Kinneret and Amit were among 131 people who died in Be'eri. Sky News has verified the identities of 118 of them, including Israeli security personnel. 88 were civilians. 9 were children under the age of 18. The youngest was a 9-month-old called Mila Cohen. 24 people were aged 70 or older. The eldest, an 88-year-old woman called Hannah Kritzman. We've also verified 30 civilians who are considered missing or being held as hostages. That's 118 civilians who are in Be'eri that lost their lives or are believed to be missing or taken as hostages and have been identified by Sky News. Sky News approached the Israeli government and the Israeli military with our findings. Both departments declined to comment. A Hamas representative did not reply to our messages. The military finally claimed back control on October the 9th. Just over 1 month later, survivors are contemplating how to move forward.
Of course, we want to go back and rebuild the situation between Israel and Gaza. We can't go back to the way things were. That's not even an option. But time goes by and we are slowly healing from the trauma.